Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, October 28th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's Smackdown broadcast live on FS1 from the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. The show opened with the contract signing between LA Knight and Universal Champion Roman Reigns for their match November 4th at Crown Jewel. Knight came down and interrupted Reigns' ring entrance, commandeering the segment and asserting his position as the number one contender.
Is this my first time? Hell yeah, it is. So I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking to myself, after only a single year, I'm sitting at the head of this table about to take your title. And it climbs so fast, you don't even know what hit you. And by the time we get to Crown Jewel, you're gonna be thinking to yourself, what the hell just happened? He just walked out with my WWE Championship.
The segment ended with Reigns cheap-shotting Knight, then Knight getting jumped by Jimmy Uso until putting Uso through a table. In the main event, Knight defeated Jimmy Uso. Reigns attempted to sneak attack Knight after the match, but Knight laid him out with blunt force trauma to end the show.
I know! Roman just ate the buckles! Oh! Just like that! That sudden impact of blunt force trauma! LA Knight drops the champ! And if he does that a week from tomorrow, we may crown a new champion!
Also on the show, John Cena gave an in-ring promo in which he talked about his Crown Jewel match with Solo Sikoa and mentioned not having won a televised singles match in more than 2,000 days. Cena was interrupted by Paul Heyman and Sikoa, with Sikoa leaving Cena laying to end the segment. Cena's last singles win on WWE television was a win over Triple H at the Greatest Royal Rumble Premium Live event in Saudi Arabia on April 27, 2018. In other results, Shotzi pinned Chelsea Green, Dragon Lee beat Cedric Alexander, and the Street Profits defeated Santos Escobar and Carlito in Carlito's first match on SmackDown since 2009. SmackDown was moved off its usual airing on Fox due to Game 1 of the World Series. AEW presented Rampage last night on TNT, featuring matches taped on Wednesday night from the Liacouras Center in Philadelphia. In the opener, Mike Santana defeated Ortiz in a no-disqualification battle of former tag team partners. Mark Briscoe made his AEW return during the show, appearing during a promo segment involving Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. In other results, Konosuke Takeshita defeated Kyle Fletcher, and Abaddon won a World Women's Title #1 Contenders 4-way, defeating Anna Jay, Sky Blue, and Willow Nightingale. The match marked Abaddon's first television appearance in AEW in 2 years and her first singles victory in AEW since the November 4th, 2022 edition of AEW Dark. Abaddon will receive her title match tonight on Collision against Hikaru Shida. With some WWE corporate news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Endeavor, the company that finalized its purchase of WWE last month, is contemplating the possibility of taking the company private, according to a recent report covered by PW Insider, in which Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel discussed what he described as strategic alternatives for the company. Interest in a potential privatization of the company was expressed by Silver Lake, a technology company that owns 71% of the voting power in Endeavor. According to a report from David Faber on CNBC's Squawk on the Street, an email was sent last Wednesday by Emanuel in which he informed employees of TKO Group Holdings, the company formed by the merger of WWE and UFC, that TKO would be unaffected by whatever decisions are made regarding the future of Endeavor. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
Ronda Rousey made a surprise return to the ring last Thursday night. The former SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion showed up at the Mayan Theater in Los Angeles for a show promoted by Lucha Vavoom, teaming with longtime friend and former MMA competitor Marina Shafir to defeat the intergender duo of Brian Kendrick and Taya Valkyrie. The Rousey and Shafir team scored the win in just over 5 minutes in what was Rousey's first pro wrestling match since SummerSlam last August. With some more WWE news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
WWE announced a series of 27 events for next year as part of its official 2024 touring schedule. The announced events include Smackdown tapings in Vancouver, British Columbia on January 5th, Lincoln, Nebraska on January 12th, Atlanta, Georgia on January 19th, Miami, Florida on January 26th, Birmingham, Alabama on February 2nd, Charlotte, North Carolina on February 9th, Salt Lake City, Utah on February 16th, Glendale, Arizona on March 1st, Dallas, Texas on March 8th, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin on March 22nd. Announced Monday Night Raw tapings include January 8th in Portland, Oregon, January 15th in North Little Rock, Arkansas, January 22nd in New Orleans, Louisiana, February 5th in St. Louis, Missouri, February 12th in Lexington, Kentucky, February 19th in Anaheim, California, February 26th in San Jose, California, and March 4th in San Antonio, Texas. Also included were house shows coming to Spokane and Wenatchee, Washington, Las Cruces and Rio Rancho, New Mexico, Montgomery, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Knoxville, Tennessee, and Oakland and Fresno, California. For the wrestling news, I'm Lou Kipilman.
And we close with a look at Japan. Pro Wrestling Noah ran their Demolition Stage 2023 show today inside the Kokuki Center in Fukuoka. In the main event, Keno won his third GHC World Heavyweight title by defeating Jake Lee in 29 minutes and 47 seconds. Lee's first GHC title reign ends after 223 days and 4 successful defenses. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.'s reign as GHC National Champion also came to an end as Jack Morris pinned the luchador in 21 minutes and 11 seconds during Wagner's 7th title defense. The GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title stayed with Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf as they made their first defense of the crown, turning back the challenge of Yohei and Tadasuke. And in what was billed as his last match with the company, Katsuhiko Nakajima teamed with Go Shiozaki in a losing effort against Naomichi Marufuji and Takashi Sugiura when Sugiura pinned Nakajima. Last Saturday, during All Japan Pro Wrestling's card at Korakuen Hall, Nakajima showed up to challenge Kento Miyahara following Miyahara's loss to Triple Crown champion Yuma Aoyagi. It's widely expected that Nakajima will make All Japan his new regular promotion as opposed to freelancing. During the 2000s, Nakajima and Miyahara both started in pro wrestling under the tutelage of Kensuke Sasaki. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.